A man who flourishes without the need for a large social circle, who draws no strength from constant companionship, has cultivated a rare and profound form of self-reliance. He has tapped into a quiet inner power, a stillness and certainty that many spend their lives avoiding. This isn't about cold detachment or social withdrawal, it speaks to a man deeply anchored in who he is, someone who walks through life without leaning on the opinions or approval of others. In a world driven by noise, validation, and endless connection, a man who finds comfort in his own presence is a rarity. While most flee from silence or seek to drown out their inner voice, he embraces the solitude. He has explored the corners of his own mind, confronted uncomfortable truths, and come to peace with them. His confidence isn't the product of others' praise, it is forged in solitude, where the soul is bared and clarity is earned. Solitude, to such a man, is not a void but a mirror. It strips away the masks, the roles, and the performance. What remains is his essence, untouched by the shifting tides of public opinion. He does not seek validation, applause, or recognition. He does not need others to declare his worth because he has already decided it for himself. Free from the urge to impress or belong, he moves through life with quiet conviction and unshakable confidence. Though friendships can bring joy, laughter, and connection, he does not measure his worth by how many people surround him. His focus lies on personal growth, his vision, and the values he refuses to compromise. When others cross paths with him and share that alignment, he welcomes them. But he never seeks out relationships to fill an internal void. He knows that real peace, the kind that lasts, begins with self-possession, not social validation. Solitude becomes his sanctuary, a space where deeper truths are revealed. In this space, he faces his fears, his doubts, and the shadows most would rather ignore. But instead of running, he leans in. And through this courageous introspection, he emerges, not dependent on anyone else for wholeness, but complete in himself. This inner power is silent, earned, and incorruptible. He is discerning with the company he keeps. He knows that the wrong friendships, those built on falsehood, drama, or misaligned values, can do more harm than good. He protects his peace, even if it means walking alone. And yet, his life is not barren. It is full, rich with meaning, clarity, and purpose. This is not a man closed off to connection or incapable of love. Quite the opposite. When he does let others in, it is intentional, deep, and honest. He values presence over performance, authenticity over charm. And if he doesn't find these qualities in others, he is content to remain in his own company, rather than compromise his peace. Society often portrays solitude as a defect, as something to be fixed. But a man grounded in himself knows that time alone can be a crucible for transformation. In stillness, he uncovers his essence. He learns to love what he finds. He doesn't chase attention or approval. He walks his path regardless of who walks beside him, defined not by how others see him but by how he sees himself. He has faced himself with honesty, in silence, in difficulty, in solitude. He has examined his choices, owned his failures, and realigned with his purpose. His self-respect is not conditional or borrowed, it is born from responsibility and self-awareness. This is a man who does not need the world's approval to feel valid. He stands on the strength he has built from within. He has been tempered by adversity and shaped by trials. He has wrestled with insecurity and regret, but not to be defeated by them, to rise through them. The world's applause is not required. His quiet satisfaction comes from knowing he stayed true to himself, regardless of who was watching. In an era obsessed with perception, popularity, and performance, this man is different. His worth isn't tied to followers, friends, or visibility. It rests in character, discipline, and inner direction. He understands that a well-lived life is not loud, it is deeply lived, aligned, and authentic. He finds joy in the quiet spaces most ignore, in solitude, in reflection, in the unadorned moments. He has resolved the battles within, faced his past without denial, learned from mistakes, and released what no longer serves him. His fulfillment is not found in others, but in a life lived in alignment with who he truly is. To outsiders, his solitude may appear as emptiness or even loneliness. But those assumptions reflect more about them than him. He doesn't perform for the crowd or explain himself for comfort. His life is not a stage, it is a private, sacred unfolding. He is not defined by company kept, but by integrity maintained. Having discovered inner strength, he no longer feels the need to prove anything. He is not interested in broadcasting his success or competing for attention. He is aligned with his values, and that alone sustains him. Solitude, to him, is not exile, it is elevation. It grants him vision, clarity, and a depth of presence unavailable to the distracted. He understands what many do not, that metrics of validation, likes, followers, applause, are fleeting. His life's value is not quantifiable. It is reflected in purpose pursued, principles upheld, and wisdom gained. He is not moved by noise, he is moved by meaning. And it takes uncommon courage to live this way, to be enough for oneself, to belong wholly to oneself. But he has earned that courage. He no longer fills his life with distractions or people to compensate for emptiness. He has no emptiness. He is full, with self-trust, purpose, and peace. He is at home in his own skin. The world may misunderstand him. They may call him distant, mysterious, or cold. But he does not flinch. He has no need to correct them, for he no longer lives for their comprehension. His steadiness comes from the self-work few dare to do. He has taken the harder path, the lonelier, quieter one, and turned it into sacred ground. His foundation is internal, unshaken by opinion or rejection. He has cultivated a life that doesn't require applause, only alignment. He has made peace with solitude, chosen depth over breadth, and grounded himself in what truly matters. There is no performance here, only presence. He knows his life holds meaning even if unnoticed by others. He is not diminished by their indifference, nor inflated by their praise. His standard is not the world's reaction, but his own integrity. He lives for something deeper, something the world cannot give or take away. And in the end, his legacy will not be measured by the crowd that surrounded him, but by the unshakable man he became. To those who think he is lacking because he walks alone, they fail to see, he has already found the most vital connection of all, the one with himself. He does not stand alone because he is unloved. He stands alone because he is complete. His solitude is not an absence, it is a presence. It is the proof of a man who has found what so many are still searching for, peace, self-respect, and the freedom to be wholly himself. Conclusion: the quiet crown of the self-reliant man. In a world governed by optics, social metrics, and loud declarations of worth, the man who stands quietly in his solitude is not seen as a king. But he is one. His throne is not gilded with praise, and his crown is not forged by followers or fans. His kingdom lies within. He rules not over people, but over himself, and in that, he possesses a power rarer and more enduring than any external dominion. True self-reliance begins the moment a man stops looking outward to be told who he is. This kind of strength does not emerge overnight. It is born through a process, often painful, often misunderstood, of separation, shedding, and silence. The modern world will call it loneliness. But it is in fact the opposite. It is communion with the self, a reunion with the soul long buried under the noise of social obligations, false friendships, performative living, and crowd thinking. The man who seeks solitude with intention does so not to escape others, but to find himself. He withdraws not from humanity, but from illusion. Most people live as fragments. Pieces of identity borrowed from trends, groups, ideologies, and relationships. Their sense of self shifts with the tides of popularity. One moment they are this, the next they are that, because they have never sat long enough with their own thoughts to discover what they actually believe, want, or value. But the solitary man has sat still. He has endured the mirror that silence holds up. He has wrestled with the demons and regrets that surfaced in the quiet. And instead of numbing, avoiding, or drowning them in company, he faced them. He walked through the storm rather than seeking shelter in distraction. And when the storm cleared, he found something many never will, the indestructible center. He is no longer seduced by the mirage of external significance. He no longer craves being seen, known, or praised to feel real. He knows that most applause is shallow, most admiration conditional, and most praise transactional. So he turns inward, not out of bitterness, but out of wisdom. Not out of misanthropy, but clarity. He understands that the majority of relationships are built on mutual performance, not mutual understanding. People love the version of you that serves them. They support the image, not the essence. And when the image no longer benefits them, they vanish. But this man no longer fears such exits. Why? Because he is no longer performing. He lives authentically, without spectacle. His validation is internal. His peace is earned. His life is his own. Where others are desperate to be understood, he is content to be misjudged. He recognizes that those who truly understand themselves have no compulsive need to be understood by others. They walk alone, not with sadness, but with sovereignty. Their solitude is not a prison, it is a fortress. In solitude, this man has refined his code. He knows what he stands for, what he will not compromise, and what he values. He does not need a group consensus to approve of his beliefs. He does not bend in order to belong. His integrity is not negotiable. His boundaries are not flexible for the sake of keeping company. And for this reason, many will call him difficult, closed, or too independent. But these are the words of those who mistake convenience for connection. This kind of man is not popular. But he is powerful. His emotional discipline is born from restraint. He does not react to every opinion, every slight, every rejection. He has nothing to prove. He has mastered the art of silence, not the silence of repression, but the silence of control. In conversation, he listens more than he speaks. In relationships, he gives without seeking to be owed. And in life, he walks with intention, not noise. When conflict arises, he does not escalate. He observes. When his name is slandered, he does not plead innocence, because he knows truth requires no defense. When he is alone, he is not anxious, because solitude has become his sanctuary, not his sentence. In the spiritual sense, he is a warrior. Not one who wages war on the world, but one who has conquered himself. The Stoics would say he has attained ataraxia, a state of inner tranquility undisturbed by chaos. The mystics would say he has awakened, detached from the illusions of ego and worldliness. The ancients would call him wise. The modern world may simply call him quiet. But make no mistake, his silence is not emptiness. It is density. His solitude is not absence, it is presence. He has become full, where others remain fragmented. He does not chase relationships. He does not collect people. He does not confuse access with intimacy. His few connections are deep, chosen, and reciprocal. He is not closed to love, but open only to the real. He does not entertain drama, false loyalty, or emotional dependency. He has no tolerance for manipulation disguised as affection. He has freed himself from all of it. And in doing so, he has found the rarest of treasures, peace. This man does not seek the spotlight, yet he is luminous. Not because he demands attention, but because he carries a gravity, an energy of someone who no longer needs to be needed. He does not fill space with opinions or demands. He simply is, anchored, aware, and enough. His discipline governs his days. He lives by rhythm, not reaction. He rises early, keeps promises to himself, and chooses integrity over indulgence. He understands that greatness is not built in crowds, but in solitude, in silence, in sacrifice. While others chase validation, he builds legacy. While others consume noise, he cultivates thought. While others escape themselves, he returns inward, again and again, until the self is no longer a stranger, but an ally. He is rare. Not because others can't become like him, but because most will never dare to try. The path of self-reliance is narrow, and it begins with loss. You must be willing to lose approval, popularity, distraction, and comfort. You must watch people walk away when you stop performing. You must say no, over and over, when the world demands yes. But what you gain in return is immeasurable: freedom. Not the superficial freedom of options or indulgence, but the deeper freedom of identity. The freedom to live without shame, without neediness, without compromise. The freedom to be fully yourself, no masks, no roles, no apologies. In the end, this man's legacy will not be carved by the size of his circle, the volume of his voice, or the trendiness of his lifestyle. It will be marked by the solidity of his character. He may be forgotten by many, but he will never have forgotten himself. When death approaches, he will not fear it. He has lived as himself, fully. He will not scramble to fix regrets, because he has faced them early. He will not cry for more time, because he has used his time well. His solitude has not been a delay, it has been preparation. He is ready. Ready not because he lived for others, but because he lived truly. And so, let the world misunderstand him. Let them call him strange, aloof, or alone. For he knows a truth they do not, that the man who walks alone, with purpose, self-mastery, and peace, is never truly alone. He walks with truth. He walks with freedom. He walks with himself. And that is more than enough.